Today we're taking a look at a collaboration between two micro brands. They set out to make a watch that looked and felt like a vintage watch, however, was thoroughly modern. So modern components and of course a modern movement. The brands that we're talking about here are Wicked Watch Company, a brand that I am very familiar with, and I'm actually wearing one of their watches today. And then Radcliffe Watches, another brand that I have featured here on my channel many times. These two brands teamed up to make a very affordable, vintage style automatic watch, and I think they hit the nail on the head. So let's flip the camera and take a look at a new brand by two different micro brands, TP&CO. So through this collaboration, I believe these two brands were trying to achieve or make a watch that looks and feels like a vintage watch, however, with modern materials, a modern movement. And I do think that they achieved that. This is a compressor style watch. So you're getting a dual crown setup. That top crown actually controls the inner rotating bezel. It's sort of a black and white bezel. And you can see it's very smooth in operation. The crown itself has two little arrows engraved in it, and I'll do a close-up of it so you can see what I'm talking about. It lets you know that it is a bi-directional bezel. I think that's pretty cool. The bottom crown is screwed in. You get 100 meters of water resistance. You also get a screwed in case back. So that allows you to use this watch as a daily wearer, and it's sized like a vintage watch as well. It's not incredibly small, but there were plenty of vintage watches that were sized almost exactly like this, and I have one to show you guys in just a few minutes. So that bezel is in black and white. It's bi-directional. The dial is black. You have these square indices. Those are lume, and then there's a little portion of it that are applied. You have stick hands. Those are filled with lume. The day date, because this is an NH36 inside, so a Seiko automatic movement. It is signed TP&CO right at the top, right below the 12 o'clock index. Right above the 6 o'clock index, it says 100 meters in a blue color, and then it says water resistant on either side. Right below that, it says 24 joules. So very vintage looking. And then of course, can't forget that orange second hand, which kind of makes the overall look come together for me. I really like that orange second hand. And again, that is something that was kind of typical in the 1970s. A little bit of color, just a little bit on a black background. It looks really good, and it's obviously very, very legible. This is a 38mm watch, spot on. So you have a little bit of a bezel right here that makes it look a little bit smaller than 38mm, but it wears and looks like a 38mm in my opinion. When you turn it on its side, it's around 13.2mm thick. You have a thick line of polish on the top of the case, and it's brushed on the sides of the case. Again, you can see that crown. This is the crown that controls the inner rotating bezel, and this is the crown that controls the time. That is unsigned. You have a screwed in case back. It is signed TP&CO, just like it is on the dial, and there's a little bit of information about the watch. You also have an oyster style bracelet on here. It does not taper, and I think this watch would look really good with a tapering leather strap. So I'm going to show you a tapering leather strap on this watch. I think it looks really, really good on a strap. The buckle is a typical micro brand buckle, but again, at this price, and we'll talk about price in just a second, that is definitely forgivable. It is signed, and you have 3 positions of micro adjust. Everything else is milled, which obviously looks and feels great. The lug to lug on here is 40.9mm. However, at the case, it's a little bit smaller than that. That's including the bracelet. Even though the bracelet does fold completely down, it does stick out just a smidge, so it's around 40mm if you measure it without the bracelet. So that is pretty impressive. And the crowns are around 5.2mm. You do get a sapphire crystal on here, and it does have AR coating, so there is anti-reflective coating. It's clear anti-reflective coating that they used. So a thin everyday watch with 100 meters of water resistance and a very vintage look and somewhat of a vintage feel to it as well. However, obviously a modern watch with a Seiko movement that will be reliable. I think it's a really great idea, and they came in at a really good price with this watch. $259. Obviously, it comes on the bracelet for that price. I don't think they actually offer this with a strap, but let's take a look at this watch on my wrist, and then we will take a look at it on a strap. On my wrist today, I have the incredible Pearl Diver from Wicked Watch Company. This is a really cool watch with a really great design, and I'm actually talking to them and we're working on coming out with a special edition for Watch Chris. I don't want to really say too much about it because who knows if it doesn't happen. I don't want to hype something up that may not happen, but we are moving along and hopefully everything keeps on moving in that direction. I am very excited about it, and it will be in a similar vein as this watch, so it will be a dive watch. Very, very excited about it. There you go. There it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. Like I said, this is a 38mm watch, spot on, and it looks really good on my 7.5 inch wrist. I don't think it looks small. The barrel case gives it a lot of presence, and the bracelet looks really good on here as well. But let me show you it on a strap. I actually have a Bulova right here. This is a vintage Bulova that has a very similar case. Not only is it similar looking, but it's very similar in size. This is a chronograph though, and obviously this is a compressor style. However, I'm going to throw the strap that is on this watch so you could see what I'm talking about. I think this looks amazing on this strap. I think this will look just as amazing. Well, there you go. This looks amazing on a strap. This is a really nice strap from North Street. However, really any strap. This is an 18mm lug span. I think it would look good on any strap. This is just a strap monster. When I immediately saw it, I was like, wow, it looks good on that bracelet, but I imagine it would look a lot better on a strap, and I think it does. And there it is on my wrist, just for full effect. You can see what I'm talking about. Wow. It looks really vintage on a strap as well. I think more vintage on a strap, and it looks just at home on a strap too. It just looks right. It looks like it works. Well, there you go. Lume is very, very nice on this watch. All the indices very liberally applied with lume, and of course the hands very decently applied with lume as well. No lume on the second hand. I wish there was, but it's a fully orange second hand, so I understand that there is no lume. It kind of makes sense. $259 is a great price for this watch, especially if you want something that looks and feels like a vintage watch, however, modern. So you have a modern movement, modern case materials, modern sapphire crystal, modern dial, modern lume. Really awesome. I think this works really, really well, and you get that 100 meters of water resistance. So this is a really great everyday watch. I definitely would buy it on the bracelet. I think it only comes on the bracelet, and then you could add whatever strap, you know, a couple of bucks. You could put a really nice 18mm strap on here, and it will look awesome. And then you have the bracelet, you know, when you want to go swimming or whatever, doing any sports, and you could wear the bracelet and feel comfortable. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think of this watch at that price, $259? Tell me what you think about the look, the vintage styling. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.